Welcome to Speed Data, quick conversations with cybersecurity leaders. I'm your host, Megan Garza. I'm pleased to welcome Robert Blythe, principal for Beacon Cyber LLC, whose information technology career spans over 2 decades, with the last 10 years focused on cybersecurity. Bob's previous 20-year tenure at World Wrestling Entertainment required oversight of threat intelligence, data privacy and compliance, technology risk management, and cybersecurity operations and engineering. Prior to joining WWE, he also worked with industry leaders such as Travelers, Cigna, Aetna, and Pfizer. Bob also holds half a dozen certifications from institutions such as Harvard Business School, Microsoft, and CNET, and last year received the prestigious Global Leadership Institute Award, given to leaders who offer world-class thought leadership. Welcome, Bob. It's an honor to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
You recently founded your own virtual CISO and advisory services company, Beacon Cyber. What made you decide to start your own shop?
It started off at looking at the industry and understanding the need for virtual CISO, or sometimes they call it fractional CISO. A lot of organizations out there are struggling with the new regulations. They're struggling with new privacy laws. And in general, just the cyber threat landscape is growing with the introduction of AI, introduction of expansion of IoT devices. I feel a lot of companies, small all the way to enterprise, are struggling with how to implement and maintain cybersecurity programs.
Yeah. And tell me a little bit about what your day-to-day looks like.
Currently, my day-to-day is working for some other consulting companies, helping them build their virtual CISO or their what they call the governance, risk, and compliance division. It's a big market right now, and a lot of companies are getting into it. So being in the field so long, I have a lot of relationships. So once they found out that I left World Wrestling Entertainment, they immediately called me and asked, how can I help them start building their programs? So a lot of exciting things.
That's wonderful. And what made you want to go into cybersecurity?
I've always been in information technology since 1987, believe it or not. And as I saw that the landscape was changing, moving more to the cyber and the risk management areas for industries, I started getting involved in cybersecurity. I started working obviously in IT security, which we used to call it many years ago, and then it kind of morphed into cybersecurity, information security. Data privacy was a big push. So it's exciting. It's ever changing. You've constantly got to keep up to date and you've got to keep on educating yourself. So kind of like that kind of living where you constantly have to be reading and understanding what the new threats are.
And what do you think is the most important thing to remember when working in cybersecurity?
You have to be technically adept, but the most important thing is being able to listen to the client's needs and understanding their risk posture, specifically when it comes to either cybersecurity or data privacy. But you also have to be able to follow your gut and understand through experience where companies may have blind spots. And you do that through a series of interviews and understanding their organization, understanding what kind of security controls they have in place or guardrails, and then figure out where they have to focus to make themselves more secure, to protect their critical assets.
And what do you predict to be the biggest shift in cybersecurity?
I think generative AI is going to be more adapted, meaning that the cyber criminals are going to use it in their ways, as well as cybersecurity practitioners need to start using it in automating their processes and making them more adapt to what's coming down the pike. IoT, obviously, that's also a growing area, as well as the new regulations of law. There's several states that have put in place new privacy laws and new regulations are coming. Especially with the SEC cybersecurity rules that has already been established. A lot of companies may feel they have the controls and the programs in place, but they have to be fine-tuned and tested.
Yeah. And what do you think it takes to be a successful security leader?
You have to be technically adept, but you have to have good communication skills. You have to be able to, again, listen to the client, understanding their needs, but you have to have a risk-aware approach to thinking. You have to look at risk across the board. There's financial risk, reputational risk. There's risk to the organization operations, but you have to take it a little deeper. So you really have to be risk adverse when working with these organizations because that's what they really care about. They care about what's going to impact their bottom line.
And you mentioned being technically savvy and having good communication skills. What do you look for when hiring team members?
There's a lot of areas where you have your individuals that only work in certain areas, whether that be work in cybersecurity operations, cybersecurity engineering. It's always good to have a mix. It's always good to either get people like that and then cross-train them, but they have to have a broad range of understanding of cybersecurity. But the team is the most important. Being that team concept, being able to collaborate, brainstorm, whiteboard, put your ideas out there and not be afraid to put your ideas out there. So what I look for in hiring is strong team and cultural fit. I believe that's more important. I can teach anybody technical, but teaching people soft skills, how to work with a client, how to collaborate with a team, how to have that team spirit. Either you have that or you have to build on that.
You can be the smartest person in the room, but if you don't have the interpersonal skills, you don't work well in a team, it doesn't matter.
Agreed.
Well, thank you so much for your time today, Bob. And as always, if our audience has any questions you would like me to ask on a future Speed Data episode, please email me at pr@varonis.com. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you for having me.